97 when this game came out. Damn. Start all over again. Every time I play this game, there's always something to fucking talk about. Let's see what I got here. Yeah, I was watching this. It's this guy. He's I can't remember exactly what his channel is. This is one of those dating channel things, and I talk about TikTok women I complaining on the internet about stuff. It's basically a bunch of millennial women bitching. It is a huge amount of people talking about all this stuff and that. And I always find it very interesting. Because it's always the same, like, selfish women. They're like, so this one chick comes on, she's just like, I haven't been in a relationship in like 3 or 4 years. Like, girl, man, like, yeah, I've been in a relationship for like 2 years now, but I surely ain't looking for anybody. Confidence goes a long fucking way. What I was saying is like, people lack so much confidence in that. And then they'll sit there and like get upset because they can't get what they fucking want, which is understandable, you know. When you don't get what you want, you always get upset and shit. But the reality has to tap in. You gotta have to get that reality. Once you figure out what reality actually is, you stop caring about all the other garbage shit. People chase relationships rather than letting, you know, shit just happen. Like, the heart guides you so much in this life. People themselves don't, you know, they want everything to be forced. And it's like, well, you can't force life. You gotta stop trying to force it. I always find it very interesting that people try to like force relationships. They're like, oh, if I meet X, Y, Z, then I'll have all this stuff, and then like, what? Meet X, Y, Z. It doesn't work like that. Like, You'll find someone. Everyone always finds someone. There's always someone out there. It's just people look way too fucking damn hard. And when they're looking so damn hard, they'll literally miss the dude that walks like right next to them, or a girl that always liked you but never fucking like sat there and did anything. This is just how life is. Like every time we go through life, we sit there, we always want to find some type of way to make it easier for ourselves. This is why we got wisdom. Grab any type of wisdom, actually like natural wisdom, stuff that actually develops your mind, that doesn't sit there and stalemate you. Is amazing. Is this shit hard to find? To a certain extent, yeah. I think a lot of people have massive issues with finding, you know, good wisdom out there because they're following stupid people. And they believe in, like, hatred. A lot of fucking hatred. Every time I get into these discussions about relationships, that suits me. A lot of people just make up excuses. The number one thing they always seem to do, they'll go to themselves and they'll say, well, if I want this, I deserve it. And I said, well, if you never worked for it, then why would you even want to have something you never worked for? Like, when you force, so it's like, when you force a blessing, so to say, when God has a blessing waiting for you, he says, if you do X, Y, Z, I command you to do X, Y, Z, and you do X, Y, Z, then you get a blessing, just to say. Because God's, you know, about commanding. If you do these certain things, you'll get this certain thing. You know, if you wise yourself up and get these sort of ways of, you know, making life better for yourself, then you'll get X, Y, Z. You'll get the riches. You'll get the woman. It's not like that we can't get things. It's just we force things so heavily on ourselves. Instead of just sitting there, taking a deep breath, doing what we enjoy, we force our hand so hard. And then when we do meet someone in our lives, just to say, and we're sitting there like, oh, that person might be for me. And that person ends up not being for you. I always want to say, well, if the person's not meant for you, then the person wasn't meant for you to begin with. Not everyone that we meet is supposed to be the perfect person for us. Sometimes people we meet are people that are supposed to help guide us, to help get us to the person that we might meet. Sounds confusing. Sometimes it produces this is how you should be. Like for instance, the gay guy that I work with, he's always talking about how confident I am in that, well, he's like, why do people, say like me or something like that? So I say to him, people, I don't think about people liking me. I don't care if people like me. I'm not supposed to have people like me. So if I just be the person that I want to be and I stick to that, and I want to be, have the personality that I have to do the things I want to do, as long as I'm trying to respect people, be nice, and tell the truth about things, then that's all I need. I don't need people's attention when I can get it for free. I don't force my hand for attention because my job enables me to get attention for how hard I work. So if I focus on my job and focus on how hard I work, then nothing else fucking matters. Turn down the music a little bit. We as human beings, we're instructed from children, depending on how you're raised. I was raised Lutheran. I was raised with the Ten Commandments. I was raised, work hard. If you work hard, you deserve, payment for that hardness. Like, but one of the biggest things that I learned as I grew up is that sometimes being nice to someone is never the best thing because people do use you. I was a very naive person. I like being nice to people. I had anger issues because I was selfish, because I was spoiled. But what I'm trying to say, I'm personally identifying all these things that I am. So with that in mind, I can actually officially grow myself too. Because then I can look at myself and be like, okay, if I say this is who I really am, I can help fix who I am. People deny their own selves, and sometimes they, probably not to themselves, because normally the question comes up, why? If that makes any sense. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you identify to yourself to another person and you confess your actual self, that confession goes a long way. Because then people will ask questions, or you'll ask questions like, okay, what am I doing wrong? Especially at lack of confidence, and lack of confidence also comes down to how much wisdom that you have. Like my confidence is extremely fucking high now. People say, "Oh, it's because of age." I know people my age that have super low confidence. They have no idea how to do anything in the world. They don't know the actual world itself. But King Solomon was right. Jesus was right. The disciples were right. The saints were right. The prophets were right. All the stuff that people say, God was 100% right. If you live in a certain way, you will get all the blessings you want. But if you don't live in a certain way, it gets harder and harder for you. It's not to say that, that you're a massive sinner. Some people can be extremely fucking good people, but they still get tempted very heavily because their wisdom might be really low. Doesn't mean you're not a good person because your wisdom's low. Having high wisdom is just understanding how the world actually works, how the reality of what God created actually works. God wants us to be pure at heart. He wants us to love one another. He doesn't see us as evil. He hates sin, for that sin is death. But sin itself is just a temptation. It starts with that temptation. It's like when people do things that they know. Come on, puppy. Hey, baby. Did you have fun outside? It's like, I'm all toasty. It's just to say, like, the guy that I work with, he has a crush on me. We talk about things, and we talk about important things. We say those. I don't know why people do these specific things, and I said, well, a lot of things we're not gonna know. When people do really obviously stupid shit, we look at it. We don't want to know because it's already something that's dumb to begin with. It's like when you know that you have to go to work. If you actually know that you have to go to work at a certain time, because you look at your schedule, you have it on your phone, and then you sit there and you look at the clock, and you're like, okay, it's 2 o'clock, I gotta be at work at 8. So you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna play video games, probably fuck around for a couple hours in that, and then but that's what your plan is, and then something happens, like your friend gets on, or someone calls you out of nowhere that you haven't talked to in forever, or texts you on Facebook or some bullshit like that, social media. And all of a sudden you get like a 3 hour conversation with them. Time goes by quick. All of a sudden it's like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and then you pick it up, you're like, oh shit, it's almost time for me to go to work. And the person's like, oh, okay. But just say if you told that person, oh yeah, I gotta be at work, I probably it's like, oh, I work here and I gotta leave here around about 7 o'clock. Then 7 o'clock becomes the ideal number that you have to look for. Definitely going in a huge arc of like talking here. It's going all over the place. But I'll put it into perspective. When things come up that are not part of our plan, it's part of God's plan. When things happen, God's will is what represents to be the leading will. We try to push our own will onto everything. That's why these relationships with a lot of these people on TikTok and whatever it is, these older ladies, these millennial women complain about relationships. Love was pushed onto you because you hung out with people in high school and in college. But as you get older, you start being very selective on who you hang around with. That's why I don't know if I'm going to meet people. That's why I like customer service, because I don't know if I'm going to meet someone. I met a couple gorgeous women already. They're tremendously fucking gorgeous. I work with one that's rather fucking attractive. And I didn't know that. When I first met her and that, I didn't look at her as, I mean, I thought she was hot because her body looks fucking, she has a fantastic, nice body on her. She got good, skinny genetics. But then I look at what people say about her, and I look at for what she says about herself, and they connect. She brings up the stuff and that, other people bring up stuff, but there's always some type of fucking like anchor that like doesn't make any sense. That someone says something, and then they want to sit there and get all fucking pissy about it and that because of whatever fucking reason. And I just look at it like, well, you're just what am I saying? What am I talking about? So the crazy sisters. one of them is a very judgmental, like dramatized person. She loves the drama because she doesn't know how to get attention. She directs her attention towards like talking about other people, and it talks about other people in a sense of not actually speaking the full actual truth because it's just you're just analyzing. Like, she's like an analyst. She likes to analyze stuff. So she wants to think that what she thinks of a person is what is actually true, but it's not. People love doing this shit. You could do to a certain thing, but you gotta keep it. I guess you gotta keep it to yourself. If you want to talk about it with other people that you can, but you have to put it as this is an opinion. Use that word all the time when you're talking about people. It's not the actual truth of the person. Say, "Oh, this is just my opinion because this other person acts like that." So then they start doing like that. Like with me and that, people have opinions about me. Unless I tell them the actual truth about me, I'll just act like an everyday person. I don't say all the stuff that I've been through. You know that the other day I was walking home from gym. I could barely fucking breathe because my chest was very inflamed evidently. And then after I took a cold shower and let it beat on my chest, that my inflammation started to go down. I could breathe again. But I was walking home in like 87-degree weather, and it was not super duper hot because there was a nice little breeze. It was a little cloudy and that, so it wasn't like super sunny. But it was hard to fucking breathe and it was hard to walk home in it. Many people would just call a fucking Uber. They would call someone or they would complain. They'd be like, dude, it's really hard to breathe. And then they'll call the ambulance and make all this fucking stuff and that. And then when the ambulance gets there, the ambulance say, why can't you breathe? It's like, I don't know, it's exercise. And it's like, oh, you probably just have a lot of inflammation. It's like, oh, we'll give you like this shot or whatever the fuck it is, or whatever it is that like clears it up or whatever the fuck they want to do. No, I walked home. It's about a 40-minute walk. I have faith I can get home. And so that faith guided me home. I walked home. Was it difficult? Yes, it was difficult. Can many other people fucking do it? Fuck no. Many people can't even walk across the street without fucking having a panic attack. And this was yesterday. And this is before work. This is before I did truck too. This is like the bigger truck day on Thursday. That's why I always tell people it's like I worked out rather fucking hard. I mean, yeah, I do take, recovery peptides and that. And they are starting to work really well. I'm starting to see, quite a bit of a difference. It's been like going on 3 months now. The difference of change that is good. I am trying new stuff in that because, why not? It seems to be working quite well. But I'm walking, and this shit was just annoying. I was trying to stretch out my back and that. I was trying to like do stuff into that to try to get my chest to hopefully break free. And it didn't break free until I got in the shower and that. After I took it and that cold water in my chest, it was annoying, but finally my ribs lost inflammation. My lungs start to open up again. As in, like my lungs weren't so much pressure on them. I can actually breathe a lot more. But yeah, so if I talk about that stuff towards people and that either they would believe me or they would sit there and be like, "Oh, that's amazing how you do that." Most people don't look at it from that perspective. They look at it as like, "Oh, you're probably lying. I don't believe it because I can't do it." I said, just because you can't do something doesn't mean that another person can. Everyone's trained differently. But a lot of people are such like deniers because they keep stuff inside their head. There's a lot of supposedly since video games and social media and anime and all this stuff and all these movies that start coming out, people start putting stuff into their head. They think that they're like superheroes. They think that like one day they're gonna get all these powers and that, or whatever the fucking stupid shit they think. I used to think that watching Dragon Ball Z, hey Jay, if anyone watched Dragon Ball Z thought they could shoot out a Kamehameha and shit, it's fake as fuck. The world doesn't exist. So basically, when people don't take in the actual reality of their life, which is what God made us. So guys, so we have a creator, God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, the full fucking truth. Anyone can say anything. If you go to argue with it, that just means that you're just really fucking stupid and you don't understand the world. You think this, that, this, and that. Like I know there's a lot of pagans out there. Like they're not full on pagans, but they believe in Zeus and all that shit. Zeus was in the fucking Bible, literally. One of the Greek pagan gods was talked about. That's kind of strange. Why is Zeus in the Bible? I thought he was Greek pantheon. Oh, the fucker's in the Bible. I remember hearing about it. And it's like God knows all that stuff. That's why it's all there. We keep on trying to think that this shit's made up. No, this stuff's not made up. These guys, these Zeus and all these gods, they're all demons. They're all demons in disguise. That's why they always change their fucking names throughout the year because people worship them. And people have a strong hold on to those worships. People have a really strong hold on, that belief. That's why if you say, Jesus is Lord, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I say he's a king, he's our Messiah. I don't care. People can argue with me. Well, where's the proof at? I don't need to give you proof about shit. It's not about convincing you. If you don't want to be convinced, then you're not going to be convinced. I really don't give a flying fuck. Because, like me, I'm not going to hurt myself to try to convince a fucking moron. I'll say, if you don't want to have faith in it, then you don't have faith in it. I'm not going to force it upon someone. Because to me, that's just stupid. I said, when you use the wisdom of King Solomon to your disposal, you'll start to see what life actually is. And here's why. King Solomon's the best person to listen to. His wisdom is so ridiculously high. His understanding of life is ridiculous because God gave it to him. King Solomon had everything. He had enormous amount of money. He was worth like nowadays people say like 400 to 500 trillion dollars. Like he was so fucking wealthy. But when we talk about wealthiness being ridiculously fucking high like that, people can't comprehend. That was back then. That was back, several thousands of years ago. Now, if you had that kind of money, his wisdom and that money would own the world. The whole entire world would be worshiping Christ because that's what he did. He worshiped God. But nowadays, you got all these influence people that you got a lot of billionaire people that they're part of the boomer society of the boomers and Gen Xers and that have all this fucking wealth because they were born during the age of wealth gaining. A lot of times these guys are just elitist people that always had wealth. They've been royalty for, hundreds of fucking years and they always had wealth. They just, they just accumulate their wealth in different ways. That's how society starts to change because people put their money down on certain things and they say, well, I want to invent this. Who wants to invent this? It'll make us a lot of money. And all of a sudden they'll get engineers together, they'll get blueprints together, and all of a sudden everybody's inventing shit, and then everybody starts to progress from there. That's why if you look at technology, it has to do with money. Entertainment has to do with money. You want to say that no one does anything for free. Well, they don't, because currency is the only way we can do things, because that's what balances out. If someone got free energy, which is all around us, you could tap into it anytime you fucking want to, and someone figures out how to tap into it, then also, that person gets shunned because we don't want, you can't have free stuff. Society can't be free, right? I mean, everything's given to us from God, but we're the ones that make the currency. And normally, currency is like a lovely mechanism to certain people. What I mean by that, currency is something that, puts people into a perspective. So people that are, they have a lower level of, for what a lot of people think, a lower level. Because success is by wealth, by the things that you have. I know it's kind of weird to know that that's how life is, but it's just how life is. Now you talk about materialistic things. Wealth itself is having an abundance of something. It's like either having like enormous amount of strength or have enormous amount of intelligence, wisdom, or sometimes you're just an enormously good person that people gravitate towards because they see something with you as a person that is so nice and so smooth, so positive that they want it. That's the legitimate of wealth. Yes, we can say a lot of money is wealth because it's a lot of money. In our society, money is a regulator of survival. But how to get that wealth, you got to have abundance in other things. And that wealth comes down to, say, like people that exercise a lot. I know people that always do the push up, sit up, squat thing. They're always incredibly good shape, which means they're stronger than the average person and they can work harder and they're more disciplined because they do something every day that's actually difficult. They do get enjoyment out of it, but it's just how their mind works. So when you look at reality, you start seeing people that don't have a hobby they do massively hard and that's actually fucking difficult. It has to be difficult. You gotta do stuff that's hard because your mind regulates through learning. It has to be somewhat stressful so you can learn it. But when you look at people that don't know how to deal with stress, they and I kind of talk about this girl that I work with that quite a bit because she kind of has that, and it's kind of hard to deal with because she's kind of acts like a little temper tantrum kid. And why she do that? Well, I'll tell you why. When it comes down to it, it's a lack of discipline. It's a lack of will. It's a lack of wisdom. You're always lacking in something when you are, say, not wealthy. When you work hard and get wealthiness, you start to gain all these extra, I say abilities, like confidence, for instance. You stop caring about other things, start caring about this. But when I see this young lady, and the reason why I talk about her to a certain extent is because she reminds me of me when I was her age. I know exactly what she's going through inside her mind when it comes down to certain things. Not her lifestyle, no. But when she talks, she wants people to understand her. But people don't because it's jibber jabber. It's just random shit. But her mind's trying to get something out, but she can't. And I said, well, you're thinking of concepts that don't actually exist. You're thinking of things that don't actually matter. There's certain things that people talk about. Like I ramble a lot. I contradict myself up and down sometimes because I'm trying to produce a way of thinking, so to speak, and I catch myself being fucking stupid. or even people talk about it in that a lot of people agree with because they kind of understand, psychology is a very hard thing to understand. It's just fun for me. It's fun to pick at certain things. But now I know that demons and temptations are actually real. I can pull away from certain things by using the wisdom of God and understanding, psychologics and stuff like that to pull myself away for certain things. And then if I do deal with people, then I can communicate with them. When I tell people you have a choice to live any which way you want to. Why? Okay, when you have that concept in your head, you have a choice to live any way you want to. What do you choose to live like? And most people say that they want to live like, someone that has money. So they want to live like a celebrity. And you look at them. So you want to choose to be someone that a lot of people like. Supposedly. These people are actually not really likable people. They're actually terrible fucking people. Most celebrities are fucking terrible people. They're very high and mighty, and people give them this pride of glory to think that what they say should matter because they have abundance of wealth and a little bit of wisdom. Because I listen to these shorts and that, and I have these people. Well, these people I listen to, they have shorts that come out every now and again. They do normal videos and that, and they talk about celebrities. And they always say the celebrities always want to butt in on everybody's fucking stuff. And they get a camera out. They go on a fucking a very heavy, watch podcast. Like, oh, we have this celebrity coming in, like the Tonight Show, and all that shit. And they ask them opinions about things. And people believe these celebrities, even though they're all fucking most likely retarded. They all have enormous amount of fucking probably drug habits and that. But they've got an image for themselves. It's like, oh, you saw me in this movie. I don't give a fuck, bro. I don't give a fuck what movies you played in. Anyone can do your job. You're a puppet. They give you a fucking script. You read it, you practice it, and then you do it. And then if you fuck up, you do it again until you get it right. Don't make it act like you're someone important because you do basically what children do every day when they play with their fucking Legos. They build it up. If they fuck up, they have to build it again. Just like anything else. So what I'm saying, people want to have this hierarchy of life, and they want to sit there and say, I can rule over other people by talking and saying, well, I can say what I want to say because people are going to believe me. I don't need to believe you. You're no different than me. You have higher wealth, but that wealth doesn't mean shit because I don't care about your wealth. I don't care about your currency. You do you entertain people. I entertain people all the time. I fart, people laugh. I get entertained. I don't make money off of it. I say funny, catchphrases and say jokes and that. I don't make money off of it. What I'm trying to say is like you do stuff. You shouldn't be doing that stuff just because you make money. You should do stuff because you're actually trying to help people. I think that's the actual wealth. Being there for someone. Not just to say, oh, I donate money so I can get tax refund off of it. I love how people do the donation thing. Like that one stupid fucking bitch. She came out of nowhere. She's an old ass. She's like an older singer and that. She was like popular like the early 2000s and shit. And it's about playing on PC or Xbox. No, neither or actually. I play on. I love when I love playing games when I don't actually play the fucking game. I just talk my ass off. Like no one ever listens. But no, if you're still here, this is PlayStation version. I don't think I got the 30th anniversary. Maybe I did. But you see, that's exactly what I was saying. The guy comes up, talks about the game and that, but doesn't respond to what I'm actually talking about, which is actually more important. I just find it very interesting. Like, being with God is so much better than being, you know, playing video games and all that shit and that, or whatever it is. That, like, I don't know, it just feels better. Not that I don't mind playing video games, I really do enjoy it, but a lot of people are just like, I don't know. I always try to tell people, it's like, I just can't live the same life that I used to live, you know. Ooh. But yeah, I can't live the same life that I lived a little while ago. All the mods and that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, there's a bunch of reiterations of this game. Well, Doom altogether, honestly. But yeah, we get distracted so much in our lives. So with people that start to get into faith, they start getting into Christ, they start getting into God, they start reading the Bible, they start understanding stuff from that. These things that we do, I don't know, I just don't feel like they matter as much. Like when I was younger, and I love video games so much. I played fucking like 10 hours a day and shit. I'd be playing non-stop. Especially when I was younger, you know, like a teenager and that. I believe the reason why I did it so much, I was trying to escape the real world. That's what it always comes down to. I think that's why people do play love video games. They want to escape something because they don't like the real world, and they think the real world is, you know, unfair and petty and that, which is, you know, of course it's gonna be unfair because you have to grow yourself. It's like just to say, like, demons like these don't exist in real life. This is not how demons look. This is an imitation of it. Us as humans really make up all this shit. This shit doesn't actually exist. People want to think it does. Oh my god, doom actually exists. No, this shit's all fake. It's all made up. Good concept, but it's not real. Say, oh, you know, go to hell, you know, you get all these demons out. Hell is not where demons are. Demons, you know, they're called angels. We call them demons because they're dark. They're the opposite of light. All of them are angels. Demons is just another word of fallen one. It's like when people use the word cool. They're like, oh, that's cool, oh, that's not cool. The word cool always indicates not rebellious. Oh, you're not cool because you're not doing drugs, you know? Like people said shit in high school, man. So I don't fucking want to do drugs. Because it makes you feel good. When you listen to those words, feel good. It's like, well, I feel good already. I have a good life. And then immediately the person's just like, well, my life sucks. You know, it's like, well, that's why you don't feel good. Just like when people, you know, want to mimic people and that, you know, I get that shit a lot, being an older man, that. I got younger people trying to imitate me and stuff like that, and it's just like, and when you look at someone tries to imitate, you know, you definitely see it. That's just like the person doesn't have they're scared of being who they want to be. And you could ask that, it's like, why are you so scared of being someone? Like, just be yourself. It's like they get so confused because they watch all these TikTokers and watch all these influencers, they watch all these people and that, and the guy that I work with, you know, asked me, he's just like, hey, he's like, why do you have so much confidence? I'm like, because I don't like care about what I care about, you know, I care about things that I'm doing. I don't give a shit about all this drama and emotions and that. To me, it doesn't really matter. It's like when people, you know, ask me questions like, you know, do you actually care about people and that, all stuff and that. I say, well, I care about people, but I don't care about what they do, though. Because I can't control what they do. And that's what it all comes down to, is that sense of control. That's why people have a lot of issues of understanding things. They want to control everything. It's like, well, control itself is just... I mean, at least in my version of control, is just... control yourself. Worry about what you do. People will eventually, you know, there's always someone out there that's going to like the same things that you like. That's why there's no point of worrying about, you know, all that bullshit. It's just like I can't get back the feeling that I have 100% of this game. I used to play all the time. I used to play this all the time on N64. You know, because I was actually scared of this game. There was some type of feeling with this game. It was spooky, it was scary. I thought it was actually real. You know, I thought that, you know, all this stuff was real and that. The truth of it is, it's not. It's all fake. So how can you enjoy something that you don't that you know that's, well, fake? It's hard to. I mean, it's not to say I can't get into that mood again. Honestly, I would love to. I love for that excitement to get back in my life. I tell you what, a lot of people have a lot more exciting days than I do. I always ask myself, I don't know what changed in my life, but something changed. Maybe because I don't give in to stuff as much as I used to. I look at stuff from too critical of a perspective. Fuck, I even know my eyes have changed. Not from like seeing, like I guess it's like I don't know how to explain it. The way I look at life, it's not as enjoyable as it used to be. To explain it in any type of detail, not I don't know what it is. It's kind of weird. It happened when I was think like I think I was in my 20s and that. Like I slowly stopped accepting emotions. Like I tried to close off my heart to love and to stuff like that because I had so much disappointment in my life when I was younger. I didn't understand anything. I wanted to produce, something that wasn't there. Like I always looked at like let's say like we'll start off like when I was in high school and that when I was like 15 or going through school and that. For some reason I always had a thing about people. And people always some people liked me a lot and other people didn't like me at all. And as a young person, how I was raised, if I was a nice person that, you know, I try to be, helpful when I had to and that. But for some reason it's like certain people, they always picked on me. But it wasn't anybody that was popular or anyone that was like it's always like these people that just didn't like me. Maybe because I would say that I'm attractive, and for some reason, evidently that's what it is. And I always thought about that, as of now, as an older person, and I was thinking like, so my whole entire life was like this, is because people thought I was attractive. Like I don't look at myself as attractive. I don't really give a fuck. Like I just kind of like go on my day. But when other people look at me, they see a good structured, face man, and for some reason it's that attraction that pulls in a lot of nonsense. Like I get flirted with all the time without even noticing it. I'll get guys that don't fucking like me because they're like, oh, well, because they think that I'm pretty or some bullshit like that because I get all this unwanted attention. I said, well, and that's just how life is. Some people think, oh, it's unfair. Well, you're born with certain looks. Yeah. I always say it's like, well, it's not anything that I can personally help myself. Like I remember having like random chicks come up to me and asking me weird ass questions about certain things because they were confident enough to ask me. I remember this one chick, you know, she was I think she was a senior when I was a sophomore. She was like a couple years older than me. She had massive hots for me, evidently. But she was extremely fucking hot herself. Like she was extremely fucking attractive. And why do I talk about that? Because I ended up meeting her in like 2020. She came by one of the jobs I was at, and we had a good conversation about it. And I noticed her was like, "Oh yeah, I used to go to school with you," and I can't remember her name. She's like, "Oh, her name was like Valerie or something." I call her Vivi. You know, I talked about in that. It's like, yeah, I remember we went to high school there. She's like, oh yeah, and then she remembered the exact scene that I remembered, and she talked about it with me. So the scene was like this: I was hanging out with two friends. I was hanging out with Tyler and Tom, Tom's a very, low name, Tom. But they were two dorky kids. I hung around. I was in the gym. This was in high school. Hanging around with them and that, and, but I felt I wasn't belonged there. Like these people liked me in that, but like they never really liked me. I try to fit into the dorky crowd because I love video games and that. But for some reason, I was always my appearance was always gravitated towards the jocks and towards the popular people. It always was, and it's always been like that. But I never really cared about it because I'm just like, okay, I like being a dork. So that day and that, she came in. She came in by herself. I guess she was probably looking for me. I'm assuming, because the way that she talked and that she thought I was really attractive and that. And she sat there. I remember it. She had tank top on, fat little titties and that. She was skinny and that. She was very fucking gorgeous looking, and she has a cute structure face and that. And she came in and she sat there and like she looked at me and I looked at her and she just sat there in the middle of the fucking gym. Like and then I found out because she told me this is fucking 15 so years later. She's like, yeah, it's like I sat there. It's like I want to talk to you. I want that, I want to actually get to know you now. But you were with your friends and that. And I told her like, well, you could have just came up to me. It's like you were one of the hottest girls in school. Like you could have came up to me and like, swayed your hair, and those boys would have just left. Like literally because she was just so attractive. But for some reason, her mentality wasn't like hoish. And and I also was like, you wouldn't want to be with me when I was younger and that because I had a lot of issues. I had a lot of anger issues, stuff like that. Because I looked at life from a spoiled perspective. That's what I have to say. When people have these temper tantrums and things don't go their way, yeah, you just don't know anything. You're just a fucking idiot. And like when she told me all this stuff and that, I looked at her and of course she wasn't, as attractive. She had kids now. Normally when women have kids, they normally either they blow up, they get like bigger hips, their tits get really big in that, and they definitely change the way they look altogether. And that's what happened with her. She went from a skinny like 120-pound chick that was really fucking attractive and skinny and small. And not saying that she was fat, but like she was thicker. She had thicker legs and that. She had gigantic fucking tits. Like her tits were enormously fucking huge. And like, and the funny thing is, like, when I saw her there, I ended up seeing her again, and it was still the same thing. Like we looked at each other and that, and then it kind of just like it like fell off. And and I thought about that. I'm just like, what? It's like, well, I met this person twice. And of course, it's been a little while. It's been over 6 years now. This person's probably close to 40. I'm 36. She's probably like at least 38 right now. She said she had kids, and I'm guessing that she was single. But she said she still lives where she used to live at. I guess she still lives in her parents' house or something like that. I don't know the whole details with her, but I'm always thinking, I'm like, man, it's like if I wasn't such a fucking retard, I actually believed in myself back then. I had a lot of confidence. I could have a gorgeous fucking wife right there. Super beautiful fucking person. She seemed very down to earth. She seemed very cool. She was actually rather intelligent. The way she talked to me and that, she wasn't talking to me like a hoe. She was very herself, being exactly who she actually was, you know. And it makes you want to think. So when I talk to people, have confidence in yourself. Do the things you love to do. People always will. You will always get that friend. You'll always get that attention. But if you don't show people that who you really are, people are not going to know you, and then you'll never get what you actually desire. You'll never get that attention that you want. And that's what I'm going through with the guy that I work with. I say things towards him like he acts like a dork and that he does dorky shit. And I always say, that's why people love you so much. But you sit at home on your fucking phone all day and you're so scared to meet up with people. I said, because you're thinking that you have to be the specific way. Just be yourself. If it doesn't work, then who gives a shit? when you're trying to be the actor that you watch on TV, you have to act a certain way. Oh, but it's cool. Being someone else is not cool. Be your fucking self. Being someone else is stupid and dull and actually kind of just fucking dumb. Because then you lose track of who you are, and then you start to develop personality disorders where you're lost in your own mind. You have no idea who the fuck you are. And that happens a lot, evidently. But the whole point of it is that, like, we gotta live life. As a child, you live life with your own intention. You're super confident, you show off a lot, and they say, well, that's an ego. And then people want to say ego is bad. Ego is not bad. I get called egotistic all the time. I say, why you say that? Well, it's because I'm in charge, because I'm confident. I said, when we use words and we tried to bend those words to be bad, having a fucking ego is good. So it means you have confidence. You have self-esteem. You actually love yourself. The people that have this sort of mentality that they like, oh, I don't love myself. Then why the fuck you even alive then? Well, why? What's the whole point of even living? And people can get mad at that, but I'm being dead serious. Why the fuck do you want to live life without loving? Oh, okay, so love comes from God, and not having faith in God means you don't have love in yourself. If you don't have faith in yourself, you can't love yourself. You'll never succeed in life. So when you look at people that don't succeed in life, it's not even saying about making money. It has nothing to do with making money. It's success is about the things you actually desire, things you actually want to do, the purpose of your life. They rather sit at home and smoke weed and get fucked up or complain on the fucking internet all the damn time. Well, of course, I just talk about shit too, but that's what I like to do. But they don't want to get out in the world. They want to prove something. It's like the first step is get a job. Probably get a customer service job. Don't think about the money. Just get a job. I work with people. I think this job's a low born job that I work at. I work at fast food. So it's a low born job. Evidently not, because evidently it's hard enough that you complain about the work that you do. I don't want to work. And so there's another guy that I talked to. And I asked him, I'm like, why don't you want to be at work? Like, why don't you want to make money in that? He says, I'd rather be at home playing video games than sit there and do this. So he explains to me. He says, I get high at home and I play video games. I said, what the fuck you do with your life then? You want your life to be full of entertainment, but entertainment comes with a lot of things. When you try to push yourself to be more successful, you get entertainment out of it. People start to see you for who you actually want to be. And now you're sitting there stagnating your mind. Because I did that shit when I was in my 20s, in my teenage years and that. I love lifting weights. But I had this mentality that, that I was super strong, but I couldn't prove it. Like a lot of kids that go to the gym. Not to change the subject and that from a different person to another person. There was a guy at the gym. I was lifting weights. I was doing my triceps. Now. The dude put on like, I don't even know, probably like 100 pounds. And he was trying to curl it, but he was literally up thrusting it with his whole entire body. And I looked at him. He wasn't that big of a dude. He was actually rather small, but he was thinking that he was strong because he sat there and he took like 100 and something pounds and he picked it up and he threw his whole entire body into it and he picked it up like he was gonna curl it. But the curl didn't actually happen until the leverage was already up in the air when he already had almost all the weight leveraged off because of his body. And he sat there and I looked at him. I was sitting there, I was like shaking my head like, what the fuck are you doing? You're a fucking idiot. And then he sits there and he walks off like he did something. I'm like, well, like you didn't do anything. You literally body threw weight around. I'm sitting there and I'm doing 50 pounds that with my tricep extensions and that. And I do them. I try to focus on the muscle control and that. Keep my arms tight. Try to make sure the muscle actually gets activated. And then, I do enough of them to where I start to get a decent burn. And then I look at my arms and that, and I look at how they look in that when I do my tricep extensions and that. And then I went from short range tricep extension to long range tricep extension because I want to work out the back part of it. So I dropped the weight a little bit and I start really focusing on working out the back part. And now I'm growing. My arms are fucking getting massively huge. And it had nothing to do with heavy weight. The whole myth of lifting heavy weight to build bigger muscles is complete fucking bullshit. It's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. It doesn't mean your strength value depends on how much mass and energy you have from that mass. Weight itself, it's all about energy. Because when you have weight, if you don't have enough energy to pick up that fucking weight, you're not going to do it. And it's mass on mass. Well, if you're a massive person, things that might be heavy for another person could be light for you because you have more mass, which you have more energy because your muscles are bigger, so you can be able to contain more energy into them. And that's what contains strength. Yeah, think about your muscles are made out of water for the most part. The actual muscle itself is not a lot. If you drain all the water out of your muscle now, you would actually have like really small fucking muscles. But that amount of muscle could bench press 300 pounds. So why is our bodies made out of that? Where our muscles are like sponges. They absorb an enormous amount of fucking water. Our bodies are made out of enormous amount of water because it's just how our bodies are. God made us in this way because it's perfection. It works. Whatever we do to our bodies, of course, always depends. Oh man. But anyway, so like I look at these dudes that do this stuff, and I used to be like that too when I was younger. But this dude looked like he was like in his 20s and that. And like every time I see kids that are younger than that, they finally get how to exercise. They get super big and they get really fucking strong really quick. Every man's fascinated with strength. They're fascinated with big arm people, guys that are fucking strong as fuck. But strength can only be so much. You can only have so much strength. Now everyone's got a bench press 500 pounds. I bet you a lot of people won't be able to bench over 300 pounds in their whole entire fucking damn life. Most people are probably not going to. That's just how it is. It's how it's just you gotta work hard at it and keep on pushing yourself. And most people, when it comes down to it, it just ain't gonna fucking happen. It's like when I look at myself and that I look at myself being a girthy person. I got a dad bod. You know, I always had dad bod. Well, not always, but it's just how I am. I gotta drop some poundage now, but I'm just bulking up. I never bulked up my whole entire life, so I'm just gaining weight, gaining muscle, and that building up, getting good diets in, or at least trying to. It's just how I am. I look at little progresses in that. And when I say it's just how I am, it's just how I am. I'm not gonna change anything. I mean, people always want to say, I always want to lose weight to get a six pack, but I'm just like, I don't give a shit about that, really. It's not to say I don't want to, but it's just how my body is. As you get older and that, especially we build up a lot of muscle throughout, the times that you live in that. A lot of times you're not gonna be that super skinny fucking model looking dude. It just ain't gonna fucking work. It's just not gonna happen. For real, like when I used to look at guys who are really fucking skinny now, When they get bulked up in that, they just get fucking bigger, and they're not gonna be that slender, fucking attractive person. Same thing, let's say like with like, well, like a woman, for instance. Since I'm talking about men, like when women sit there and they worry about how skinny they are, they're the ones that never want to get pregnant because they know that they're going to get bigger. They might keep their small ass frame, and women always bitch about that throughout their whole entire fucking life. Yeah, you're just not a mother. We that what we call you as a man, we call you attention whore. We call you a hoe. And it's not to say you have sex with a lot of people that, but if you don't have a family and you're dating a bunch of dudes because you look good, eventually it's gonna stop. Like for instance, I had this one chick came up to me at a bar. There's a bar like right down the street from me. It's not really a bar, more or less a restaurant. It just has a little bit of a bar mentality. And so I went in there and that, I sat down, I was eating my food, and I was listening to Jack Reacher, the series, because I like the guy that plays Jack Reacher. He's a badass. He beats up people and stuff. That's really fun. And so I was sitting there. I was actually doing that. I looked over, and this lady was there with like her niece. It was her 21st birthday. Her niece was really cute. That's I kept looking at her, and I looked at her off and on that, and all of a sudden, I guess she caught my eye, and then she talked about it, and then I guess it was her aunt. Her aunt looked over at me, and I guess probably identified me as being attractive. She had a white wine with her, and she was sitting there, and she came up to me drunk. I mean, I could smell her breath. It smelled like Moscato. It was a Moscato sweet wine. It's like actually one of my favorite wines. I really like that one a lot. She came up to me. She sat there. And I felt her presence because she was sitting there for a brief moment, and then finally she talked to me. And she's like, "Hey," I'm like, "Oh, hey, how you?" It's like, "How you doing?" It's like, and she wasn't really responding because she was fucking drunk. But the whole point of it is, she's like, "Oh, that's a cute boy over there. Go talk to him." And this woman was around my age. This was a couple of years ago, and like I'm sitting there thinking about like, bitch, like you're in your 30s, you still act like a fucking teenage girl. Like, where the fuck's your mindset at? Like, how the fuck you live life like that? She was hot, she was skinny, she was very attractive looking, but it's just like it was so noticeable why she came up to me. I'm just like, okay. And then she's like, oh, hey, it's like, what do you do? And all drunk and shit. It's like, oh, I'm watching Jack Reacher. It's like, what's that? And she tried to get excited about what I was talking about. And then, it was like a little temper tantrum kid. Like, it was like you never talked to a guy before, but you're fucking 30 something years old. And you're still hanging out with people trying to act like you're fucking young. I'm like, that's the reality a lot of people never accept. You're fucking old, okay? Y'all bitches don't like to accept that you're old. The lady that I work with, that I have quite a bit of a crush on, she's old and she never acts like it. Like, you're just an older person. Like, you're just old. You don't do stuff at a certain age. I mean, it's not to say that you're old because we're all in our 30s. We're all pretty much in our prime. We're going through the cycle of understanding life, and we build up certain wisdom accounts and muscle accounts and spiritual accounts. We're supposed to build up all these things now as we get into our 30s. Because in our 20s and that, most people are pretty fucking stupid for the most part. But reality starts setting in when you start getting into your 30s. And when you start reaching close to your 40s, it really starts to set in of how you want to live your life. And people say, well, that's old. That's the point. You're figuring out your life is your 20s and sometimes the bulk of your fucking 30s. I mean, a lot of people have kids that are in their mid 20s, late 20s, and that. But guess what? You still got to go through your 30s and go through the book of your 30s and your 40s and that to understand. I work with people that are like close to their 30s. Like they're in their high 20, like 28, 29, 27, whatever it is. And like their concepts are completely fucking ridiculous. I look at them and now I'm like, what do you do? And most of these men, they play video games all day. One of the guys I work with in that, he did a foolish thing. He got a lady pregnant, and like he used to know her from high school. Now, he's older now than that. Yeah, I think he's like 30, 31 or something like that. And he got her pregnant after like a couple months of dating her. Like he was looking at it as a fucking as a relationship booty call, I guess. And now she's about ready to have a kid, and now he's getting second guesses on getting her ass pregnant. She's like, oh man, I'm about ready to have a kid and all that stuff. Oh, now you're starting to realize it? It's like that pussy was good when your dick was fucking in it. When you're playing around with your big ass titties and that, and you're busting nuts all up in her. Yeah, it was great then. But now you got a fucking kid about to pop out, and your ass is like, like, dude, think with your fucking mind, bro. I always tell people, if someone says this, like one of the guys I work with, it, it's our gay guy. You always have a gay guy in some type of work environment. There's always at least one of them. And he asked me a really silly question. He said, "Why aren't you in a relationship?" I said, "Why?" And he said something about like, "It's like, well, you be someone that like people would want to date." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know a lot of bitches want to be with me, but I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about the attention. If I get it, I get it. If someone says I'm attractive, it happens. I'm like, okay, I'll appreciate it. But it always comes down to the concept. There's not a lot of good looking dudes out there. Most dudes are not that, like, because women are supposed to be the cute ones. Men are not supposed to be attractive. We're supposed to have masculinity as an attractive quality. But men try to be a female attractive. It never works. I mean, you can, but it's not the same. Because women want to be that. Let women be that. Men be masculine. And that's why I start going through these concepts of what all these people see that I talk to at work. They're not masculine. They act like little kids. They act like they're very feminine. I'm just like, that doesn't do anything. It's not to say that playing video games is bad, but we're sitting there all day long, and then when you look at yourself, you look like you do when you're in fucking high school, but you're fucking 30, got no muscle tone, your personality's still the fucking same, you haven't grown that much with wisdom, and then you stalemate yourself. You're like, well, what do I do? Man up, mature. I mean, for me, it was going through a lot of psychological shit. No, I'm probably not gonna have kids. It's probably not gonna happen as of right now, because I'm very skittish on who I want to be with. It has nothing to do with of course, looks do matter. Not like the chick I'm talking about has a fantastic fucking body. She has the type of body that I fucking like, way too fucking much. Very obsessive looking to me, and because she's Irish and I'm Irish descent, we have an Irish kind of thing going on, and it's very fucking attractive. Even though she has a past, fucking, we all do. It's her heart that seems to be the thing that I like the most. She seems like she really fucking cares because her personality's always been kind of that same type of way ever since I've been working with her. And like it's a very attractive trait because she has confidence in herself. She's very talkative towards things. I mean, obviously she says, are kind of just stupid shit sometimes. Not even saying like just random stuff that comes out of her head and that, but like it's just like how she, because she's a manager, how she talks to employees and that sometimes. Sometimes she's kind of an asshole towards other people and that. And I understand why, but because one of the instances that we have, one of the guys that I work with, that he's having a lot of relationship issues. Dude's old. It's he struggled with his whole entire life and that, and now he just doesn't know what to do. I said, well, it's because you're not masculine. You didn't get a job. You didn't work. You didn't work to make money in that and store money up. And now you're getting kind of old. You know, the dude he's close to 50, and now you don't have really nothing to live for, bro. I'm like, you're gonna have to sit there and just suck it up. You have to start changing your life right now and start trying to live as happy as you can. I mean, it's never too late. You can change pretty quick. But you know, he has kind of that street lifestyle, kind of ghetto lifestyle. He was raised like that, and it's hard when you're raised that Pacific way and you try to live that Pacific way. It never works. You know, all your family starts dying around you young and that because they all do drugs and they all get all fucked up and shit, and they all want to be, you know, the cool mafia based people, and it just never works. So you change it. That's the thing about life. You can change anything you want to. If you want to be successful, go up in management, make money. If that's what you want to do, that's the success you want to do, which is the main succession people worry about. I would say for me, my succession, I'd rather. There it is. Yeah, my mic likes to turn off every now and again. But anywho, like, talk about my personal successions and that. Like, I want to guide people towards Christ. That's like the main thing I like to do. I talk about, being faithful with yourself and that, and loving yourself. And people always want to mock it and that. It's like you can, I mean, mock it all you want. The truth is the truth. Now, I'm more stable minded. I'm more, well, just saying stable minded is very, very heavy. Because most people are unstable minded. Their minds are going in like 100 different directions, and they don't know what to do because they believe in the social media thing, and a lot of these people believe in like, oh yeah, I have to have a kid, or I have to be in a relationship and that, and they dive in on it and say, when you're that desperate and you're that naive of a person, there's a reason why you're that naive. There's a reason why you're that desperate, because you don't love yourself. And that's always been one of the things that I would say a lot of people always struggle with. I like a love for yourself. And people go crazy over this shit. They don't want to understand it. It's like, well, I like what I do. Yeah, you can like what you do and that, but if you don't, what I mean by love yourself is it to accept God for what God is. God loves everybody. People say, why does He do such things? God doesn't do things because He hates us. Don't ever think God is hate. God is pure fucking love. But love, the whole point of love itself, it's a double-edged sword. It's either he'll 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 get rid of things because they're so impure. Just like when I talk about Sodom and Gomorrah, people say, "Well, God was wrathful; He destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah." But He destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah because they were doing things that were so impure and so unholy. It wasn't part of our design to do. I mean, people think nowadays we do a lot of stupid shit. But how the demons go, when people start sacrificing children, God gets fucking furious with us. But he'd rather have us repent and go to him than it is for him to kill us. That's literally how God works. Like Jesus talks about it. He'd rather have us repent and go to him than it is for us to be destroyed by him. He doesn't want to kill his children. But sometimes you have to. And people get really fucking finicky about that. When you sin so fucking much and you don't repent your sins, wrath will be put upon you. It always does. It always fucking will. It does not matter if you get away with it in the mortal sense or not. God's wrath will always judge you, no matter what you do. It's always going to be there. That's something that everybody has to accept. So we'll go down. What do people have to accept? You have to accept that you are going to die. That's an exception. Some people can never accept that. So you will die. You have so much time to live in this world. And this is just this world. And this is the reality that a lot of people don't grasp. You don't die forever. The flesh dies, the spirit keeps moving on. And then people look at the concepts like, well, spirits still dwell around us and all stuff and that. No, they do not. Mortal spirits don't have the power to do shit. Our spirits are governed by God. When we die, our spirit gets taken. The angel of death literally takes us. He weeps for us, explaining why angels do the things they do. They love us. The angels want us to be successful in loving God because that's the whole reality of it. They want us to talk about it. They want us to be part of their lives. We are their family. As humans, we have to understand, just because we're not powerful, it's never been about power. People want to think about power as in something that's like, oh, look at me, I'm strong and successful, I got millions of dollars now. But at the end of the day, you die. Your power is not, it shouldn't come from yourself. It doesn't mean that you can't grow. It doesn't mean you can't get stronger. If God's will is for you to be like that, which it normally is, that's why males got fucking testicles. That's why we build a lot of muscle. That's God's will. God wants us to be strong as men. God doesn't want us to be emotional fucking twat waffles like you see all the time. God doesn't want that for us. He never did. He literally created us to be like this as males. And same thing with females. You gotta think about it. Males are the brick wall. Brick walls need maintenance. So you need a helper to maintain that wall. Yeah, women don't understand that. Your main goal as a woman is to help maintain the man. And for that, the man maintains you with protection and love. You maintain him with nurturing and love. That's the fucking correlation of why these stupid fucking women want to think they need no man. You're half of the fucking pie, woman. You need a man more than you think because you want one. But feminism has poisoned the well so much, and these women just think they can torment a man. I mean, I have women that used to tease me with their ass and their titties all the damn time. And I'm sitting there like, but it's not worth it. There was one chick I used to work with there at Taco Bell, which I work at right now. The first couple months I worked there, she had a huge attraction towards me. I had a huge attraction towards her. I looked at her and that she looked like a really cool girl. She was skinny in that. She had a cute fat little butt on her and that. She had good looks in that. I mean, she had acne on her face and that, but I never really cared about that. You know, I got fucking eczema. I can't really say anything about it. I got a skin disorder. You know, it's all over the fucking place. The most annoying thing in the fucking world is, like, I keep my face good as much as I can, but it's fucking there. And most likely, it's probably not going to go away anytime fucking soon. I mean, there's certain things I can do in that to make it better than that, which I will, but, you know. what I'm saying is like she came up to me. She was working right next to me, and that I was expediting food. She came up to me. It was a bunch of other girls too. There was like two other girls there. I guess they came up, I guess they came up together that because they were trying to tell us like, oh, go tell them how you feel, and that whatever the fuck that it is. And like eventually, Kinaju, she said it in kind of an awkward way, but I thought it was really cute. And she's like, hey, it's like, it's like I want to say something that, but I don't want you to think that's like sexual harassment. Now I'm like, well, what do you mean? It's like, it wouldn't be sexual harassment, And she's like, well, and it's like, and I was like, you're okay, go ahead and talk. She's like, oh, it's like I think you're really handsome and all that stuff and that. And like, that's not sexual harassment. You're just complimenting me. It's like I appreciate it. And she got all giggly and that. And it's just like she enjoyed working with me. Well, she ended up getting a promotion at another job, and she ended up quitting this job because she was working two jobs. And I was just like, one of the things is, if she would stayed working with us, it would have been nice to work with her because I would have fell in love with her. I would actually have a relationship with her, and I wouldn't care. But like even at the time of that, I was still struggling with some things, and that like I am now. I'm very upfront now. Like when someone does say stupid shit and that, I'm just like, hey, it's like go fuck yourself, bro. It's like I don't care what you have to say. You just do this shit all day long. Blah, 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 blah. It's like you're just stupid. And my one of my favorite catchphrases is telling people to fuck off. I say it all the time. I'll come into work and that I say, hey, you want to fuck off a little bit? Go fuck off. Go do something else. Now let me get on the line because I'm bored. I want to work. And like the person that's on the line that will go fuck off with that, and then they'll go be on their phone and shit and do all this stuff and that, and then you know. But the whole point of it is that that chick had confidence, and and she knew that she had acne and all that. The thing was that confidence of her calling me attractive, her calling me handsome, was enormously heavy on my heart. I'll remember it to the day I die because it was something that I never really. I heard it before, and that when I asked the question, like one of the girls I was talking to, and I asked like, "Why do you like me?" And like, well, it's like, oh, what's your personality? Now they always want to say it's like, oh, it's like you're cute. You got your face is attractive, and like, and that's literally it. I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's the only thing I got. Yay! But anyway, and you learn those concepts throughout your life, and that. And some people could be unfair. Like I said, I have eczema, and that it's terrible. Other people don't have it, but they might not have it as a good looking face as me, but they don't have a skin disorder. So am I taking is it what is it with God with me and having this fucking skin disorder? I look at it as well. It's a practice. It's a practice of humiliation, and I'm understanding that now because it is humiliating. I got to put lotion on my face all the time and that. I got constantly like do stuff and that. Like it's kind of going away, but it's kind of not. I'm taking ivermectin. It's supposed to help out with inflammation and all that shit and that. I've noticed a little bit of a difference in that. But all I have to say is, I got it. I got it. I have to accept it. And that's one of the things I do. That's what happens in life. You have to accept life for what it is. That you are going to die, that you're going to have to go through a whole bunch of bullshit and get your blessings, get your love from God if you believe, have high faith. Not even high faith. Faith of a mustard seed. Very, very small amount of faith, but it's not about how high your faith is, more or less. It's all about do you want to believe the commands that God gives you? Because one of the things that Jesus always seemed to do when he was doing his miracles is that he always gave commands. And he sat there, he always said, go do this and go do that, then you will be healed. And then people do that stuff and then they're healed. But it's like, well, Jesus is not around. So we can't have Jesus is around, but it's the Holy Spirit. Jesus ain't like in flush next to us saying, hey, if you do this, do that, your skin disorder will go away. So it's more or less like it's a little bit harder concept. So when you have to look at when you read the Bible and that, there's certain things that people do. Like I'm starting to eat more fiber now. I'm starting to eat, at work and that I snack on like our refried beans and that because I need more fiber in my diet. I know fiber is a very important thing. And like some people say it's not important at all, and some people say it's very important. And I look at it like people have been eating this shit for thousands of years, like beans and wheat and rice and stuff like that, and they always have very healthy bodies. I think it's the processed foods that we have to deal with that seem to get because I see a lot of kids are starting to get this issue. I see younger people starting to get flare ups on their faces and that they're starting to get eczema on that. And like I never had this during the '90s. I was a hose drinker and shit. I drink out of a fucking damn hose all the damn time when I was younger than that. You know, I didn't really care. I just like grab the hose, play around with the water out for a little bit, and then drink out the hose. And take a big ass piss later on. But when I start getting into eating like a lot of shitty ass foods, and I ate a lot of shitty ass foods. I mean, like fruit roll ups, all that dye and that. I tell you what, I fucked my gut up really fucking bad. And now I'm trying to heal myself, and that's why I go to I'm drinking amino acids right now. I got a milk jug full of amino acids. I'm gonna start to do that a little bit more now because I have a bunch of amino acids I haven't been drinking. I bought them, like a month ago, and I haven't been fucking taking them. So right now I haven't ate any food yet. All I did was just had a little bit of caffeine, which I still have some. I have a little bit of caffeine in my shaker cup. I've been up probably for the last couple hours. I think since 12. It's been almost 2 hours now. I haven't ate nothing yet. And honestly, I don't feel like eating at all. I just don't feel like I would need to eat. The ivermectin must be working. I'm actually waiting to take a shit because I haven't took one yet. I was thinking about giving me some. I got some leftover pizza I want to eat, but probably get off and watch some anime and shit. I don't fucking know, bro. I love this game and that, but I just gotta go take a shower and all that shit. Oh man, getting old. Anyway, I'll probably get off on that.